Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to your home for Deadlock News, Deadlock Weekly. We're taking a look at the big rank shakeup from earlier this week, getting you some updated objective and game mode info from the leaks from a couple of weeks ago, hero win rates, and obviously we'll finish off reading your comments. If you want to stay in the loop with all things Deadlock, be sure to subscribe. The number one thing on our docket this week, guys, is the rank reset, and I'm going to call it a rank reset for simplicity's sake, because when you jump 1 to 3 rank divisions overnight, that's certainly what it feels like, but in reality, that's not what it is. It's actually pretty structured. We got very little info from Yoshi and the development team, but their message in Discord reads, quote, "We are updating rank badges globally today. Previously, badges were tied to fixed skill ranges on the back end rather than percentiles. As new players joined and as distribution shifted over time, it caused badges to clump up in negative ways. You can head over to your profile now to see your rebalanced badge." End quote. So when I hear tied to fixed skill ranges, that means that you were put in one bucket, a big bucket, and you had to exceed the skill range of that bucket in order to climb rank. You had to be markedly better than everybody else in the lobby in that bucket to climb rank, which for a long time worked, especially with the 13,000 peak daily players we had prior to the 6 Heroes update. But now with all these folks who've joined up since then or returned, thanks for coming back, by the way, we're very happy to have you. But with all those guys who joined back up, who come from games with varying amounts of experience, whether that be Counter-Strike or League of Legends, or you're entirely new to competitive games in general, you guys outnumbered all of us who have been building that matchmaking data for the past year, and it completely threw Valve's quote-unquote fixed skill ranges out of whack, since those ranges were trying to fit basically a square into the circle hole by applying all that data that we had been building to the new and returning players, and the 1K hour people like myself, all of us together in that same bucket. And now, with it being based on percentiles, you're not going bucket to bucket, you're going puddle to puddle. You only need to be incrementally better and obviously keep winning games in order to have your percentile increase and then your rank go up theoretically. And it does seem to be pretty clear percentiles just based on the earlier returns we've gotten from StatLocker. Under the player distribution tab on StatLocker, you can see this chart, which when we compare it to the version of the chart we looked at a couple weeks ago, and this version was put together by Quatoden on Reddit, you can see how much things have adjusted since this rank shakeup. And you can see it's also not a bell curve structure, and if it's truly based on percentiles, I'm not sure that we'll ever actually see one really develop, at least surely not as strong as the one we had prior to matchmaking got out of whack. Because as we go down the line, the percentiles are pretty clear. Initiate is the bottom 5% of players, and then Arcanist is top 80, Emissary is top 50%, Oracle's top 25%, and then Eternus is just the top 1% of players. So if it is this cut and dry, and we'll be left to see if it is over the next couple of weeks, because if it is truly percentile based, the actual percent of people in each rank will theoretically never change as long as Valve doesn't change it. Because let's call it like 1% of the player base can be in Initiate 1. If it's truly that hardcore based on percentiles, only so many people can be the bottom 1% of the player base. So it seems like there may be a hard cap. It'll be very interesting. We'll see over the next couple of weeks how it actually works once we start to see how things shake out, once people start playing matches in their new ranks in a statistically significant way. But at a baseline, we shouldn't see that doom loop of people just deranking forever once the dust settles. Then guys, one last thing I do have to say on this is don't be scared to jump in. I've seen a lot of people getting scared to jump back into the games because they feel like they haven't earned their rank or they feel like it's better than they are, and don't worry, since it was basically just a percentile change, you're playing against almost all the same players that you were before. Essentially, I'm just playing in Ritualist lobbies that are now Oracle lobbies, except for a few exceptions, I'm sure, but go give your new rank a try. It's just, I'm really happy to have one of the cool ranks finally. It's not that extreme of a difference, guys, or really any difference that I've noticed. I will say, I did see people are using their mics more, but again, I've only probably played like 5 matches since the patch. Then guys, we pivot over to the pro Deadlock scene. Hydranation has disbanded. The longtime titan of NADL, Hydranation, has closed its doors. We don't actually have a ton of information that's made its way out into the public, but what we do know is that Lomane, who's a player on Hydranation, wanted to move on in one way or another, and that essentially ended the team. And it's very difficult finding talent to the caliber of Hydranation in NA. Frankly, there aren't very many players at that caliber, and especially when they've been kicking people for underperforming in the past and forming bad blood with others. So the core of Hydranation, which is Hydration, Rocane, AVG, they all moved to Sneaky Golems to be joined by Lee, Goober, and Rocker. So NADL is as fluid as it's ever been, which isn't really a uncommon headline. Then, guys, I did get a few clarifications on some of the leaks that I gave to you guys in the past update. Number one, about Vanguard. It is a jungle objective similar to the Rift Herald from League of Legends, which is a mini-boss that once you defeat it, it can be summoned by the enemy team, and you can use it to attack the enemy objectives. It's like a summoning thing in League of Legends. And so I've heard that it's going to be similar to that. Obviously, don't expect it to be a one-for-one drop, but that's the comparison that I've been told. Then we talked a little bit about a new game mode that's in development, about whether or not that could be a King of the Hill mode or an ARAM mode. I have been told that it is an ARAM mode. I've gotten it on pretty good authority that it's going to be getting its own map eventually, but it's currently being tested by using Blue Lane from DL Midtown. Then I don't really have any updates for you on the Halloween update, unfortunately, but hopefully some new info on that soon. Getting kind of close. Then, guys, as we break into our Winrates Weekly, and just a heads up before we do start, I was wondering if we should change the high-tier ranks given the rank shakeup, but Phantom Plus is still the top 13% of players, which I feel like is high enough, but let me know if you guys want me to move it to Ascendant or even Eternus win rates, but we've got Phantom Plus again, rather, for now. And we've had some real significant shakeups since the balance patch. And folks, hold on to your seats because the number one win rate hero is Paige. And it's literally changed to Victor between me writing the script and getting the screenshot. So these two are going back and forth. It may have even changed in between me recording this and getting the screenshot. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I had a really busy work week last week, so I appreciate the patience on me missing DLW last week, but I also missed a lot of changes to Victor after the Spirit Resistance change. Is his pain battery just that much easier now that he's back to dominating lobbies? I removed him from my queue and I haven't played him since that original change because I thought they put him in the dumpster, but maybe I jumped back in. I know he did get banned on Night Shift this week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know what you guys think on Victor. And then Paige, I know they gave her some huge buffs as well, particular to her dragon, but I think a huge part of this is also that people have now had a month with this support character who has been getting buffed pretty consistently while people are still learning to play her. Support characters, especially as one that's locked into a support role as Paige is, aren't the type to dominate with one build and then everybody runs that exact same thing for 2 weeks like we see with Seven, Hayes, or even Victor. With support characters as in-depth as Paige, people need more time to get themselves up and running on the character, and I think that combined with the buffs is how you see this win rate skyrocket like it has since the patch. And Calico is back up here as well. It's great to see that, and if you guys watched the patch notes reaction video, you know that as soon as I saw those Calico buffs, I told you exactly what was coming, and yeah, good to see Calico back up top. And we're in a really interesting state right now, guys, because between the current hero balance state and the rank shakeup, Deadlock's in a bit of a Wild West state at the moment. It'll be interesting in a few weeks to see where the balance and the ranks all shake out and who is at the top or the bottom when the dust settles. Then, guys, as we get into our tournament roundup, we will start with the night shift, which I just realized there's something that I forgot. I'll be right back. I need to write another section. All right, we'll get to that part in a second, but in Europe, Buff Enjoyers takes the cake this week, and I agree with the analyst desk in saying that Buff Enjoyers has reclaimed their crown as the best team in Europe, and probably thus the world, 2-0ing Abrams to win their third night shift in a row. And then in North America, the newly crafted Sneaky Golems roster wins their second night shift for the team, defeating Melee Creeps 2-1 off the back of a great performance by League on Infernus. And then, guys, the part that I forgot, Trolli, the Gummy Worms, and Deadlock Night Shift are teaming up to put on a 48-team tournament with a 10K prize pool for North America and a 10K prize pool for Europe. That is insane. Congrats to the Deadlock Night Shift people for being able to secure that sponsor. And open signups are going on for that now, when signups are in the description, guys, if you want to join up on that. And then Deathy's Death Slam also wrapped up yesterday, the third iteration with the winning teams for divisions 1 to 4, respectively being State of Decay, the Bebop Backdoor, Viscous Jar, and Mofungo Marauders. Congratulations to all those winning teams, and congrats to the Death Slam team. You guys are leveling it up every broadcast. Then, guys, let's talk some Deadlock. Our first comment this week comes from Flaming Fruitcake, who said, "One thing I'm not liking too much about this patch is that by the 10 to 15 minute mark, it's easy to tell which team is going to win. Very rarely have I been in the game where we turn the tides. It just feels so hopeless because anytime you attempt to push the Iron mid-boss objective, it's too easy to get shut down because the enemy team's soul lead is too significant. It's like you have to 1v4 against the enemy, but they still somehow kill everyone. I would like there to be a mechanic to reduce the impact of feeding. Like once someone dies a certain amount of times in a certain time frame, the amount of souls received start to depreciate. You still benefit from the respawn timer, but at least this way you can slow down the snowball effect that one person can have who can eventually take over the lobby. I don't know if this is already a thing, but I'm not having fun wasting 15 to 30 minutes after lane already knowing the outcome of the match. I would not like to feel hopeless for a majority of the match. And so I think that feeding idea is a really interesting idea for when Deadlock gets a casual queue. I do not think it fits in the competitive environment, but I think it's the literal perfect feature for a casual, getting to know the game type of playstyle. That way, you can test builds or even just do meme ones and not worry about entirely destroying the time of the people who are just trying to chill out at the end of a workday. But I still don't know how far away we are from actually getting a casual queue. I do think that the kind of original sin of Deadlock and Deadlock matchmaking is splitting the queues back last fall, and I think we are still paying for that decision now in terms of our match quality. I do agree, though, that the comeback mechanics in Deadlock, they're there, but they can feel a bit underwhelming, as a lot of the time the winning team needs to make a few blunders in a row to make it viable. I think the urn is in generally a good spot. I'm still not sure how I feel about the recent changes to bullet resistant or to resistances and the move speed, but I generally think it's fine. And when Vanguard is added, that'll help there too, assuming that you can get it without really putting your team in a bad spot. So I think some adjustments there still need to be made, but I'm not maybe as bullish as you are. Then, guys, our next comment came from 10 Kenobis. Thank you so much for being a member for over a month now. I missed this comment a few weeks ago, and I'm sorry for that. Members are supposed to get the first crack, but I think its relevance has come around again this week, given how strong Victor has shown to be again. Doormat nerf? They need to tone down Frank. I'm only Ritualist, probably Oracle now, and maybe just not good enough to deal with him, but come on, he's fucking unkillable. I had Spirit Burn and Healbane, yet I basically did 0 damage to him, and he came out 17-1. So I just wanted to spread a little bit of knowledge on how to counter Victor, and the key with him is that you need to silence him, because his 2, once he gets it up to tier 3, it acts as a debuff remover, and he gets multiple charges of it, so the Spirit Burn, Healbane, try to uses are pretty damn useless because he can just debuff them. Silencing him is what prevents him from using his 2 to heal and debuff remove. It doesn't stop his ult, but it's an insanely useful tool, especially then when you can then space him by just keeping out of his aura. You need to combine spacing with silencing, and you need to kill Victor's teammates before you kill Victor. All that Victor wants you to do is have everyone focus him at once, because then you're going to use all of his stuns and he's still not going to be dead. Go after vulnerable teammates, and then you can team up on Victor once a couple others are dead. Then, guys, a lot of the comments on the most recent Deadlock Weekly, I apologize again for not getting a video out last week to look at them, but they were addressed by the recent patch and rank changes. So I wanted to point out one person, Boris, who comments a positive comment on almost every single one of my videos, and I just really appreciate that, and it makes me happy, and it's a nice little pickup when I'm having a bad day at work or something like that. So thank you, Boris. Thank you all you guys who comment. It really it means a lot. And it makes me laugh whenever someone replies to him and is like lukewarm comment or slightly negative comment. But yeah, thanks everybody for all the smiles. It really means a lot. So guys, I hope that's all I got for you this time. Thank you so much to all the members. If you do want to become a member and get early access to Deadlock Weekly every week, get some members only videos and priority to comments, you can become a member for $3 a month. And that support obviously means a lot to me. So thank you to all you guys who have signed up. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys again. I'm going to get something out the middle of the week this week. So at some point over the course of this week. Have a good one. Bye. Peace. I almost didn't say it. Peace.